Sparkling wine experienced increased demand during the pandemic, and now a shortage of bubbly in the global market could impact holiday celebrations. Ray Isle is Food and Wine Executive Wine Editor, and he's been looking into the champagne shortage of 2021 for all of us. Ray, this sounds like such rich people problems. Really? There's a shortage?
There actually is a shortage of champagne. It's kind of crazy. It's like the worst thing to run out of during the holiday season. But it's not so short that you're not going to be able to find anything with bubbles. I mean, there's definitely there's bubbly wine out there. Some of it is champagne, some of it is other options. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. You hear the news and you think, well, this can't actually be true. How can they run out of champagne? But the combination of basically, a lot of it goes back to COVID, and then it goes back to agriculture at the same time. The demand for champagne was very low at the start of COVID, and what's odd is that the champagne regulatory body can control how much the farmers harvest in Champagne, and so they cut yields in the region, and the demand shot through the roof, which caught them a little shorthanded. And they'd also had a number of
sounds like the oil problem.
It's somewhat like the oil problem.
It's the same thing that happened in the oil problems.
Well, and in fact, you actually may see prices rise for champagne. So, it's your choice.
I hate to say it, these champagne problems out there. I mean, we really mock things when we're calling them champagne problems. But in this situation, who's being affected the most? Where are they getting hit the hardest?
Well, what I'm finding is that where you're seeing shortages are of the big names, of the most popular brands like Clicquot and things like that, because that's what people autopilot go for. And so those are out of stock. Like, if I was looking on wine.com, which is the biggest online retailer certainly that I know of, the other day, and they were out of Clicquot Yellow Label, they were out of Dom Perignon, a variety of other things. But at the same time, like, I checked, the Stu Leonard's in Yonkers, and they have Clicquot Yellow Label. So it's very hit or miss at the same time. But then there are brands that are not the super well known, and they're out there, and they make some wonderful wine. So you have to be a little adaptable if you're hunting for champagne this season.
I find it kind of funny that they're running out of champagne. Of all the things we've run out of, I mean, I couldn't find cream cheese this morning to make cream cheese cookies. But this is a big deal for places like restaurants, which have already been struggling so much. What do they do about this? They just move to the backups too?
I think they move to the backups too. They pivot to to a brand that's known to some degree, but maybe not the one that everybody goes for. And the nice thing about restaurants is that you actually have someone coming to the table who can say, by the way, have you ever had this? And give an option. And similarly in retail, if you're in a wine store where there's a staff, they can tell you about the alternatives. And there are alternatives to champagne that are great sparkling wines that are out there. I mean, Cava is one of them from Spain. And it's funny.
That's what I have in my hand. I'm gonna show you, because this is the news you can use segment. The guys were just laughing at me because I tried to open this in the break and I spilled it everywhere. I've never opened champagne before, but this is the Cava, and it's a really pretty bottle.
It's Segura Viudas.
That's what it looks like.
From Spain, and Cava's actually, historically, Cava got its first boom in popularity during World War I, when there was no champagne available because the French were, at war. So there's a historical precedent for this.